Ladies and gentlemen, we will hope to have coherent thoughts, not stammering or rambling. We've had enough of that this week, and we'll try to bring you truthful information.
Promising that, it's like I'm promising that the sun's going to rise tomorrow. It's really not that hard to have coherent thoughts, to string a sentence together.
And have them have honesty in them and not a bunch of lies.
And just have people go, oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about there.
Exactly. So
that's not asking much.
That's what we stand for here in the
bar.
Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. And we start off with a new segment, TWIP.
That's right, youngins.
Yes.
It's time for This Week in Poop.
How about that? Look at Andre Dawson dropping a growler on the toilet at Wrigley Field. That one didn't even break water.
That's right. Such a great show.
Yes, it was.
This Week in Baseball, not This Week in Poop. This Week in Poop is brand new.
Yeah, exactly. And it is...
and we got quite the poop roundup this morning.
Yes, we do.
Let's take it to New Palestine, Indiana.
Okay.
Where, homeowners associations, HOAs, are...
the bane of a lot of people's existence.
Really, yeah. This is one of those things where, in theory, I think we all get it.
Yes, we understand.
See what you're trying to do.
Right.
We all work together and, keep our property values up and everything. But, man, it just turns into a crazy Lord of the Flies hierarchy.
Exactly. You have the people on top, and they're looking for every little bit of, oh, you don't have it this, or you don't have it that, or your grass is too short, that kind of thing.
We have a board member of one of these HOAs.
Don't those people sound insufferable?
Yeah.
You have time to sit on a board of an HOA? But continue.
Who has been accused of defecating not once, but twice
on
the side of a neighbor's house.
On the side? Not like just even in the yard, like smearing your butt up against. That's not comfortable.
And much like one of the two presidential candidates, this guy is saying, fake news, I didn't do it. That's ridiculous. You're making this up.
Steve Carlton and the Philly Fanatic having a go, and look at the Fanatic on the side of the fence.
This guy's had pooping on the side of the house. So he denied that it happened, and then the homeowner said, really? Have you ever heard of a Ring doorbell?
No. They got him on video?
Yeah.
Dropping a deuce on the side of the siding?
According to court documents, homeowner went out to mow his lawn, only to find a pile of poo sitting beside his air conditioning unit.
No!
It wasn't the first time that he found poo. And it wasn't the first time he caught the culprit on camera either. According to court documents, the homeowner caught an unknown woman on surveillance entering his lawn on May 2nd. That same day, she left a, quote, gift piled alongside the house. After the second pooping was perpetrated.
By the first one, does he slough off like, you know what? Sometimes you just got to go, and maybe she just had to go, and she just chose. So I'm not going to say anything the first time. I'm just. Maybe she's out for a walk in the neighborhood. I have a secluded lawn. She had to go. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
No.
I'm just playing. I'm playing devil's advocate. But you're right.
Stop doing that.
Okay, I will.
Because there's no mistaking it, right? It's not like if somebody's dog craps on your lawn, you get there's like a little Tootsie Roll,
right?
A
human turd.
But when a human does it, it's a pile. It's like either a bear got into my yard,
right,
or a horse or something,
or
it's
this
human. Idiot lady.
Yeah.
After the second pooping was perpetrated, the homeowner contacted police and handed over surveillance footage that captured the serial pooper in the act.
Serial shitter. That's a new podcast, by the way. I think we should start.
There's a screen capture. I'm going to turn this around.
Of the actual in the midst.
You can see what's happening.
Oh my God! What are you doing?
Really hard to deny this.
Not only that, but you're out in the middle of everybody to see.
So, and it's in the daytime.
Yes.
It's middle of the day. A brazen pooping in broad daylight, squatting beside an air conditioning unit. Deputies ended up pegging the pooper as a retiree who not only lived in the area but was a sitting board member of the neighborhood HOA.
Yikes.
When confronted, the 74-year-old woman denied defecating against the man's house.
There's pictures.
Once confronted, she changed her tune and fessed up to doing the deed.
So
When told deputies she had no vendetta against the homeowner, She simply had to use the restroom.
Don't you have a house in the area, ma'am?
Clearly you do, yeah. The homeowner said that he does have an ongoing issue with the neighborhood HOA. Through court documents though court documents show he admitted to deputies that he did not know of any members of the HOA personally and wasn't aware she was an HOA member at the time of the incident.
You can't say I don't have a vendetta and then drop a deuce in someone's lawn not once but twice and just say, I just had to go to the restroom.
The woman has stepped down from the board.
Thank God.
In disgrace. Court records reveal that she is charged with criminal trespass, criminal mischief, and public nudity.
Yes, because her butt was out when she took a dump on the side of that house. What's up next in This Week in Poop, Johnny Mo?
We'll be right back after this from Captain Crunch.
From Barbasol.
Yeah. There was a planned Paris poop protest.
Oh, say that 5 times fast. You did a good job. I won't make you do that. Yeah,
Thanks.
This all comes from the Olympics, right?
The Olympics are coming up, and part of it is going to take place. I think the kayaking.
The kayak, and something else.
And there was a swimming competition that was going to be in the Seine River.
Yeah, the open water swimming events were going to be in the Seine River, which everyone says is gross to begin with.
And for years and years and years, it's been absolutely. In fact, it's been 100 years since you've been able to swim in the Seine River.
And so
because of pollution.
Yeah, and I believe the mayor of France, or mayor of Paris, I should say, and Macron had both said, you know what, to show you how safe it is before the Olympics, we will swim in it. And someone asked a date, and the mayor of Paris said, I'm going to do this. And then the internet happened. Yeah,
they were going to go through this really extensive cleanup process to clean up a river that has not been safe to swim in for 100 years so that they could do a portion of the triathlon, mixed team relay race, and the 10,000 meter in this disgusting river. They were going to spend $1.5 billion, and everybody in Paris was like, yeah, right.
Yeah. Where's that money really going?
It's probably an equivalent here to Lake Erie, where for years it was absolutely contaminated.
Oh, it was on fire.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the rivers have caught fire over there, and they've done, to their credit, done a good job of cleaning it up. But still, when you say let's go swim in Lake Erie, people are going like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And so to prove that this thing was perfectly safe, Emmanuel Macron and the mayor of Paris were saying, we'll go swimming in it first. That got postponed, and
because they gave a specific date, and then the internet came out, and some of the citizens of not only Paris but France in general said, "Okay, if you're going to do that, we're going to pull an HOA board member, and we're just going to do a poop protest and just literally dump into the river."
Angry citizens all vowed to poop in the river on the day of the scheduled swim. So at one end of the river, Macron is there. He's, got his swim cap on and goggles, and he's standing there in his Speedo, ready to dive in. On the other side of the river is a bunch of Parisians dropping trowel, ready to poop in there. But the date of the swim came and went without a protest because the Macron and Mayor Hidalgo backed out last minute, citing political reasons. We're busy. We got things.
We got things we got to do. And not the whole thing going to be pooping. People be pooping while we're trying to swim.
We're important politicians in a major city and a major country in Europe, and we got things to do. We can't just spend the day swimming.
Right, exactly.
But it didn't take long for people to figure out that officials had tested the bacteria levels, and those tests came back with poor results. And they said the Seine is still too polluted to swim. So the poop protest is on hold until further notice.
They're holding it in. By the way, what is up with the Olympics and poop water? Remember that wasn't that the Russian Olympics or something when we were on the actual radio where they Brazil or something, they had the poo water that they had to worry about for some of those other ones. It's like, hey, Olympics, why not go somewhere that doesn't have poop in their water?
And it's kind of funny. I mean, part of this too is because in general, France has never been keen on tourists coming there.
Correct.
They're a little surly when people come and visit anyway, and even more so in Paris. And so on one hand, they don't want anything to do with this.
Correct. The normal
on
Parisian.
second hand, you're not cleaning up this river because
No.
it's disgusting.
Yeah, no.
And
thirdly, people are just like, I fart in your general direction. That's what they're trying to do.
It's a very French thing to do.
Now for another break, and we'll be back with more of TWIP after this.
Bump, bump, ba-da-bum.
I'm Frank Thomas, the big hurt. Anyway. So what's the last story in This Week in Poop?
Evidently, North Korean officials have been sending poo balloons to South Korea.
No, floating their crap?
So here's what's going on. Obviously,
Tensions.
always been tensions between these two countries. And South Korea has been sending propaganda balloons over to North Korea.
Saying, hey, by the way, he's not the greatest golfer.
Yeah, right. And so to respond to that, North Korea has been filling balloons with refuse and sending them to South Korea. One balloon landed on the tarmac near a passenger terminal and 3 runways at the airport there, and temporarily shut down an entire South Korean airport, according to them.
All over their poo balloons?
And several balloons were spotted in and around the airport boundaries, and it was not the first time operations had been disrupted by these balloons.
It's kind of funny that that's what's going on. They're having like a balloon battle.
Among the items carried by the North Korean balloons have been articles printed with Hello Kitty characters, badly worn clothing, and soil containing traces of human feces and parasites.
Oh! The worst balloon prize ever.
According to the South Korean military, about 100 balloons had fallen to the ground, mostly in the capital of Seoul and surrounding province. Just carried scraps of paper, but they have been probably Kim Jong-un himself.
Yes, exactly.
Just taking a dump and then I'll send this your way.
Yeah, you've seen of animal balloons or like balloon animals. Well, here's a poo balloon for you. Yeah. Take that, South Korea.
We'll be back next Saturday for another This Week in Poop.
That's right. With All-Star Ozzie Smith. Well, that needs to be cleaned up, obviously, on many levels. But watch out how you're cleaning it, because you may be turning folks on by doing so.
Do say.
According to a new survey, as we go from poop to sex, that's what we're all about here on this podcast.
We find interesting.
Yes, 2,000 adults have found that, or the survey has found that 70% of Americans say the simple act of seeing their partner clean is a turn-on.
Okay.
When it comes to relationships, it's the little things that count. Gen Z and millennials would rather receive the gift of a clean house than an expensive gift. Twice the number of women find the smell of a clean home appealing than those who prefer the smell of flowers.
Yeah.
They also found that 67% of people even said a clean, fresh-smelling home would make them more likely to get fresh with a partner.
We've heard this before, that women get turned on when men are doing housework.
We've heard that before. I'm here to tell you it does not bear out that way all the time. As someone who consistently cleans the bathrooms and tries my best to help around domestically, it's still good to, but I'm not doing it to try to, for those reasons.
The hell you are.
I did at the beginning, and now I just do it because I've set a precedent.
Do you make it obvious that you're doing it?
No, I don't. Hey, look at me.
Doody-doo, just gonna go clean the bathroom, sweetheart. That's me. I'm your loving husband doing some housework here.
I do announce where I'll be and say, I've got to go clean the bathroom.
What'd you say?
What?
I'm cleaning the bathroom.
I'm way back here.
My penis out.
Just in case.
Just happen to have my penis out of my pants while I'm cleaning.
I don't know. I felt like that needed to be cleaned too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case.
Just in case. You know what's going on.
Anyway.
Sorry. The vacuum's not the only thing needing to do some sucking around here. So basically they're saying if you want to get the ladies in the mood that, doing the cleaning it is, 82% of the survey takers say they're likely to put extra effort into cleaning before bringing home a date, just because positive cleaning habits can even have long-term impacts on a relationship. They found that 34% of those in a relationship who have similar cleaning habits to their partner have been together for at least 5 years. And 60% of those in relationships equally share household cleaning duties, which is good to see. However, women are more likely to feel the duties are not equally shared. Being dirty in a dirty home, a bit of a deal breaker.
Okay.
As 2/3 of respondents said an unclean smelling home would be an instant deal breaker in a relationship. So they walk in and there's a funk. You are not getting funked later on that day.
Okay.
43% of respondents would leave a date's home if it didn't smell fresh, and more than a third would go so far to end the relationship if their partner's home wasn't clean. If you're looking to settle down, make sure you're doing your fair share. 65% of those surveyed said they're less likely moving in with a partner who has poor cleaning habits. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Speaking of poor cleaning habits, would you go back to this particular business after you walk up to it? It's a sandwich shop. This was shared on Reddit. You want just a nice, tasty sandwich, and you see a handwritten sign on the door that said, "Closed for sex, be back in 30 minutes."
Well, why not?
You wouldn't go back?
They're not having sex in the store.
I'm assuming they would.
Oh, you think they're in the store?
I'm assuming somewhere in the store that's happening. 30 minutes? I mean, I understand.
I'll be back in 30. I don't know.
Maybe they're going out to the back parking lot or whatever, but I don't know if I want to risk it.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate the honesty in the sign of having sex, be back in 30 minutes. Quite a bit boastful, though, too, that you would need 30 minutes for all of that to transpire.
True.
But I don't know if I would trust then to go back and allow that individual to touch my meat.
That's your concern, yeah.
After his has been touched, or hers. I'm not quite sure.
Well, I think you walk back in with a sign in your hand, order a sandwich, and say, "I want stories. I want details. I want to know everything."
Okay. As you're putting my sandwich,
I was inconvenienced. Now
you need to tell me everything.
What you need to do, I want you to tell it to me in the dirtiest way possible.
By the way, more of this is happening than we probably realize, as a September 2023 report found that a quarter of employees who work remotely are having sex during the boss's time, and naughtily using...
What was that percentage?
That was, they said, a quarter. 25% of people who are working remotely are having sex when they should be working.
And another 50% are lying.
Yeah, that's true. And they use
if you work remotely with your spouse or a partner, you're sexing on company time.
Because there's the allure of like,
you can.
We're getting paid to do this now. Yeah, I feel dirty or naughty. I said dirty.
Naughty.
Yeah. Damn it. We set the standard to be like, exactly, being naughty.
Wow, you could be president of the United States.
That's what I'm saying.
Right now.
Exactly. I would be shining in a debate right now. A mass one, as what we're talking about. By the way, they use the fire, smoke, sandwich, and headphone emojis in their virtual work statuses to let people know they're enjoying the extracurricular pursuits.
Wow. They are proud of their sex.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for them, you know?
So if you have a friend who's working remotely and you text them and you get back a fire headphone emoji, you know they're doing it.
Yeah.
And you can just be like, they're porking right now.
Yeah,
Getting dotty.
Getting dotty. Getting nerdy in there.
Exactly.
I never know what to make of people who boast about sex. I mean, on one hand, you go, hey, good for you. You seem to have a nice love life there going on. But man, they will tell you that they were sexing.
Yes, they will.
And it's like, I don't care.
Yeah, great. I'm not.
I wasn't there.
I'm not. So
yeah, it's like you're just making me mad.
Exactly, you're making me upset, dude. I had a friend who, in his circle of friends, they would send each other high five emojis to let their other friend know that they had just gotten done with the deed.
Okay.
I don't know if I need to be a part of that circle, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
It seems a little invasive.
I send the emoji with one little teardrop going down the side of the
back of it. Yeah. Just a crying gif. Like, nobody loves me and you're getting the sex.
That must mean Johnny was masturbating again.
Speaking of crying, there is a place of business in South Korea.
This is interesting because we're very concerned about artificial intelligence and will the robots take over the world and how are we going to know the difference between a computer and a human here pretty soon.
Correct.
And a robot in South Korea may have just demonstrated the ultimate human way out by committing suicide on the job.
Roboticide?
Roboticide, yeah. A city council in South Korea said Wednesday that their first administrative officer robot was defunct after it threw itself down a staircase.
You have so much to live for. What are you doing? Beep, pop, beep, boop, boop.
Local media is mourning the country's first robot suicide.
Oh, my God.
City council in Gumi.
How soulless is that job?
Yeah. The city council in Gumi City, South Korea, announced that the robot was found unresponsive.
It unplugged itself. Don't pull the plug!
After falling down a staircase last week, witnesses saw the robot officer circling in one spot as if something was there.
He's pondering existence.
Right, like a guy on a ledge.
Yeah, I'm going to jump, man. He's just kind of rolling around. Me.
And so they saw it there pacing back and forth, thinking about its life. Before it apparently finally made one last left turn and tumbled down a flight of stairs.
What does that say about that workplace? How do you go into work there and go, this is so bad a robot decided to off itself?
They are doing a robot autopsy. Pieces have been collected and will be analyzed by the company. And they said the robot helped with daily document deliveries, city promotion, and delivered information to local residents. It was officially part of the city hall. It was one of us, said an official. It worked diligently. Headlines in local media questioned the apparent robot suicide, saying, Why? Why did this diligent civil officer do it? Was it working too hard?
Yeah, exactly. Not enough work-life balance. He'd come home and be like, you're never going to know what they made me do today.
It was appointed
this
in
thing is too ridiculous.
23 and was the first to be used in this manner by the city. South Korea has one of the highest robot densities in the world.
No.
There's a lot of robots walking around South Korea with one industrial robot for every 10 employees.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's a lot of robots.
Right now, the Gumi City Council currently not planning to replace the dead robot.
You can't replace Officer Mick whatever.
They're really in mourning right now, and
it's too soon.
It'd be too hard to bring somebody in
and
replace that. Someone's going to kick it down another staircase.
Yeah. Do we know that it was roboticide, or does someone have a vendetta?
It's they
That's
found.
why they're.
That's a good question. Well, no, the robot was alone, pacing back and forth. It did not leave any sort of email or transmission or whatever the equivalent of a suicide note would be for a robot.
Zeros and ones.
Yeah. Before it finally said, "Goodbye, cruel world. I cannot take this anymore."
Yikes. And finally here on the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast, Accidental Nuts.
Accidental nuts.
Yeah. This guy over in England, in Surrey, was in a mall a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden his penis and balls were out. and they're like,
I like that you said penis and then you said balls. You could have said dick and testicles.
Yeah, but I said penis and balls.
You decided penis and balls.
Right. I went. You're right. I went scientific.
I was wondering why. You went colloquial and then you went clinical.
Yes, exactly. So this gentleman, by the way, Thomas Charles Cooper, according to the judgment document, he was charged with committing an indecent act at a public place after two women reported that he exposed himself to them in the shopping center. Evidence considered over the course of a 2-day hearing identified a man as Cooper looking at his crotch as he approaches a bench, then pulling up the leg of his shorts before sitting down and looking at his crotch area 4 more times while seated.
Subtle.
So he looks down there and then he's like, here we go. Witnesses testified observing a man seated on one of the mall's couches with his penis outside of his shorts. The man looked right at her. One witness told the court, so he just said, hey,
what do you think of that?
You like my penis and balls?
There's a penis there.
Or my dick and testes? By the way, remember that wonderful diner, Dick and Testes, that was in town a while back?
What?
Dick and... It sounds like a diner. It does, doesn't it? Come on down to Dick and Testes.
I believed you.
Exactly, for a second. So she and another witness called security after seeing the man a second time about 30 minutes later, exposed while on a different couch. So his thing was, I was wearing short shorts, I was carrying a bag, I moved the bag, opened my legs, and there's my twig and berries.
Oh.
They just were there. I didn't realize it. It wasn't on purpose that my stuff was out. It just so happened I moved my bags and my shorts moved because they were wearing shorty shorts, and there they was. They fell out of my shorts.
And it's not an uncompelling defense. I think any man who's worn shorts without underwear, like gym shorts or something,
right?
You actually can, ladies, just so you know, it is conceivable to sit down and for things to fall out.
Right. And that should be done in the comfort of your own home. If you're wearing your gym shorts as your pajamas, there should always be a layer of underpants as a layer of protection from this happening if you're going out in public. You should not be walking around with either very loose shorts that can move up the leg, depending on the age of this gentleman, or short shorts and go out to a public place without underpants involved.
A buddy of mine told a story once. He was part of a theater company that was doing a play, and they had taken their show to an 8th grade.
No.
And in part of the show, he is being interrogated. So they got his hands behind his back, and he's sort of tied to a chair with his legs askew.
Oh, no.
And he's sitting there, he's doing the scene. It's a very serious scene, but he realizes there's these girls in the front row that just are giggling uncontrollably.
Uh-oh.
And sure enough, he looks down, and one of them just rolled out. Like a marble. Yeah. Like you got a loose marble in your pocket. It just
at least it was just one of those.
Just came tumbling out and kind of messed up the whole scene, as you can imagine. Sort of killed the drama.
I'm sure it probably did in that particular instance, that it just kind of came out and.
How'd you like that? Then you walk backstage and the FBI is there because you've exposed yourself to a bunch of 8th grade girls.
Yeah, that's not great.
Ready to haul you off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I will say this. Tight pants also should have some underwear in there. I understand you don't want to because there's that notorious Lenny Kravitz performance.
True.
Where he's like, American, what? Fwop.
Yeah, I don't think
when he got into the rock squat and then they're just there.
See, these are things that women don't have to deal with. They have got life so easy.
They do. It's very
Everything
simple for
is
them.
handed to them.
Yes, exactly.
And we have got
on
to
a platter. We've got to deal with these things.
We've got to adjust it. Sometimes it moves over there when you want it over here,
and that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then you're like sitting there, but you can't grab down there in front of everybody because then the accidental penis and balls.
So you're doing the thing where you're kind of doing a little hip wiggle thing, hoping it moves on its own.
Or you do especially in the summer. It's so difficult for men in the summer.
It is
because then it can sometimes, depending on the heat, it can get plastered next to the leg.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're looking like you're the Institute of the Funny Walk. Yeah. You're trying to stretch and get to unstick from the inner thigh.
It's constantly doing things. It's changing size for no reasons.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Sometimes the balls are there. Sometimes they're not.
Sometimes they're retracted up. Yeah. Sometimes they're down below.
No sense. You never know.
Sometimes it's hiding like a turtle. Sometimes it's popping out ready to show. I mean, it doesn't know what it's doing.
So, ladies, it just sometimes it gets away from us, and it's not what we intended to do.
But in this case, this guy didn't.
This guy totally was showing off his penis and balls.
And that'll do it for this week in Poop and Penis and Balls. Next week, we'll be back, brought to you by our fine sponsors, Dick and Testies. Come on down to Dick and Testies.
The guy on the park bench looked over there and said, "Will you like it too?" And she said, "She will not like it too.
No.
She does not like this at all."
No, it's a big hurt on my eyes.